Hey, 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 y'all. We going live. We are. I'm going to get my guest in here. Her name is Ann Wyatt. And we are going to jump right into the prison series. So let's get her in here. Let's see here. Where are you, Ann? All right. Let's see here. Let's find Ann. And thank you all so much for tuning in. We are going to get this going. I am looking for my girl right now so that I can get her on up in here and we can get this going. All right, Ann. Where are you, love bug? Let's see here. All righty. Let's see if I can find Ann. Where are you at, Ann? Okay. Okay, let me see here. Now, Ann, you may have to send me a request, love bug. All right. Let's see here. Okay, that's weird. Where is she at? All right. Let's see here. All right. Hey. Okay, let's see here. Where you at, Ed? Because we want to get this thing going with you, baby. All right. Let's see here. Where is she? Okay, y'all, give me a minute. Give me a minute so I can regroup. So we're going to stay on until she gets here, okay? We're going to stay on. We don't need to invite anyone to watch, so let's see. Okay. Come on, Ann, you get on in. But we're going to jump right into it, okay? So, if you know me, I'm Denise Evans, and this is the Rainbow Roundtable. Normally, it has been geared towards the LGBTQ plus community, but I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to talk about a subject that is very personal to me, and that is prison and its incarceration and the aftermaths of being locked up. Now, let's make this clear. This series is not about the glorification of prison or doing time. It's not about glorifying a life of crime or us rehashing our own criminal past. That's not what this is about. Anyone that I'm going to speak to, we are all accountable for the crimes that we committed. So it's not about absolution. It's not about blaming the man or the government. We all know on some level that the system is broken. Okay? Fact. The system is not designed to rehabilitate. It is very much designed to desensitize and to dehumanize. Fact, America has the third largest population in the world, but we lead in prison population. Over the last 40 years, the prison complex has grown exponentially, to use a word from T.I. And it's grown by 500%. And if you know anything about this system, it obliterates Black and brown families altogether. Okay. I'm going to on my guest, Ann Wyatt. She is the person who is brave enough to come on and tell her story. This series is about asking the question, at what point have you finished serving your time? And does the punishment fit the crime? Hello, Ann. How are you?
Hello. I'm
Hi.
doing fine.
Hey, we just getting it together. That's all. We just getting it together.
Okay.
So,
That's it.
I was just telling them, what this series is geared around. And it is
Okay.
geared around, asking, does the punishment always fit the crime? At what point have you paid your price? Imagine serving 10 to 15 years in prison and then getting out and having to do an additional 5 years of supervised release for a nonviolent offense. I tend to believe that whether it's LGBTQ, we all have more commonalities than we do differences. And that's what this series is about. Most of us know exactly what it feels like to be one paycheck away from destruction, one paycheck away from making a life-altering decision, one paycheck away from testing your own gangster. These people, just like you, come from the same humble beginnings. When they came to that fork in the road, whereas you went right, they went left. This is a Black woman's perspective of that experience. Now, the key word is experience, because we all know someone, whether it's a brother, a sister, or relative. We all know someone who has been in this situation. Another thing that we have to focus on is perspective. This series is not meant to change your mind or your outlook on the judicial system, but it is geared to shed a light on some of the injustices, to enlighten you on some of these experiences, but also to be a cautionary tale to anyone who is on the brink of making a choice that they cannot come back from. Now, before we get in this with Ann, I'm going to give you a little background on us. The irony is that Ann and I are both from Mississippi. We didn't meet one another until we both ended up doing time in Northern California at FCI Dublin. I knew when I met Ann that her story was amazing. So, hey, we're not going to waste no more time. Look, Ann, I told you, this technical stuff can get a little tricky, okay? It can get a little tricky, but we right here, all right? So thank you for your patience. Thank you for anybody who is tuning in. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. And tell the people about yourself.
Well, now, first I want to say hello, everybody, and thanks again for tuning in. It's not a long story to tell about myself, quick and, simple, but my name is Ann Denise Wyatt. I was born in Lexington, Mississippi at the early age of 6 months only. My parents moved to Jackson, Mississippi. And from there, I resided on until an adult. I moved to Alabama. No, I'm sorry. Let me slow that up. I am the oldest of three. I have 2 grown kids myself, which I have as a son and a daughter. And I also have 4 grandbabies. True did. And recently I moved to Alabama. That's where I'm residing now. I'm in the healthcare business, the health field, healthcare, in-home care. I've been doing this a little over 12 and a half years since I came home from my incarceration. And, the rest is just me. Easy peasy, breezy.
Well, Ann, thank you. It takes a lot of bravery to get on here and tell your story to a group of people that you don't know, okay? So thank you for living your truth and being honest. And let's dig in. We both know, that time is precious. And let's get into your incarceration. What year were you convicted?
I was convicted in 1995.
Wow.
95. Lord Jesus. Yeah, let me say this. I'm a little nervous. It's the first time I kind of mess up. Please forgive me, okay? 1995.
Look, you are just fine. Okay, look, I couldn't even get you on here for the first 2 minutes, so you don't have to worry about nothing. You are just fine, okay?
Okay.
And tell the people.
I'm sorry. Let me correct that. And I truly apologize. 1994. Okay. 1994. We're going to make that clear.
Yeah. In 1994, what were you convicted of?
I was convicted of a content to distribute cocaine.
Wow. Let me ask you something. You mentioned in your introduction that you had 2 kids. If you don't mind me asking, how old were these kids when you were initially convicted?
My daughter, she was 11, and my son, he was just turning 3.
Wow. And prior to this conviction, had you ever been locked up before? Had you ever been convicted of anything before?
Never. This was my first felon. Never. Just a minor traffic ticket.
Wow.
No, I wasn't. Yeah.
if you don't mind, because it's story time now, can you tell the people what led up to you being locked up?
Well, I'm telling you, it's a whole book.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Just my upbringing, I won't say my upbringing, just my surroundings, watching a single parent struggle every day, trying to, feed three, kids. Me being the oldest, was just, really tired of just really basically seeing my mom struggle. And at an early age, I had already made up my mind what I was going to do by the time I graduated from high school. I think about 10th grade to 10th grade, I figured out already I was going to be a drug dealer because I had seen what it was doing and how it was changing lives, our lives, Black people lives for the best, when your mom is struggling and everything. So, that was the first thing that prompted me to, it was just watching my mom struggle. So, and then another thing, it's true to say, so as a person thinking you can bring it into your life, I gave being a drug dealer a whole lot of energy. I pretty much painted a picture, because this was my only outlet. I just, it's a book. I don't ask me why. I just never knew another side at that time in my life. I just thought this was it. I set it in stone and I started doing like anybody else would do to pursue a career. And I chose that type of career.
Yeah.
And as time went on, everything that I conjured up and put a lot of energy in, it just fell from the boyfriend to,
Yeah.
to all
Now
of it.
that's the part of the story that's so interesting. And can you tell the people what led up to your actual arrest?
Well, I'm going to say this, sometimes you can sleep with the enemy, and hey, I know no other way but to be authentic, okay? Not trying to disgrade anyone, but it is what it is. My son's father, when he got caught up and went to prison and, I guess he just thought, that's what he needs to do was bring me in. So basically, yeah, my kid's father, my son's father.
So I want to make sure that everybody out there that's watching completely understands what you're saying. You actually got arrested and convicted of conspiracy to distribute cocaine because your baby's dad told on you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. First time offender. How much time did you get?
19 and a half years. Yeah.
Wow.
First time, 19 and a half.
Off of 19 and a half years, how much time did you actually serve?
I served 15. I served 15. I was actually on my way out the door when the law changed. And the law just really just kicked me right out into a halfway house. Yeah.
Wow.
I had already did my bid. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's what makes your story so amazing. It's never a stranger. It's always the people closest to you,
Yeah.
Always. You did 80% off of 19 and a half years. And let me ask you a question. Being a first-time offender, coming from Mississippi, being locked up in Northern California, away from your family, away from your two small children, what was the prison experience like for you?
The only real hardship that I really went through, I mean, really for real, everything else, but the only real hardship was my children. That was the hardest pill to swallow, the hardest pill to go through with not having to be with them, around them, to raise them, because I was that type of parent. I was real keen on, family oriented. I just made a poor choice and, but just that, and anything else, I just felt God just positioned me and made me strong. And I guess I'm a little strong. Everything else was minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
I
it.
didn't hard time it or anything. It was just my
I get
children.
it. I get
Yeah.
it. You got locked up in 94. What year were you released from prison?
2009, August
Wow.
2009. Hmm.
Wow. Where were you released to?
I got out in California, Altadena, California. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now,
Altadena, California.
I have to say this, California is a very liberal state.
Yeah,
So
true.
what you experience getting out of prison might be the complete opposite of what somebody experiences getting out of prison being in the South or
Yep.
being in the Midwest. Completely different situation. So let
Hmm.
me ask you, what was federal probation like for you and how much probation did you have?
I had 5 years, and you know, and I'm really grateful. I can say this. I didn't have those, with the feet on the neck
Yeah,
probation officer.
yeah,
I guess my PO, once they read your file and see that you didn't keep a lot of havoc up, when you was,
yeah,
when you were, locked away, so they really wasn't on me, as long as I got with the program and the program they gave, hey, it was good. And I learned years ago, I'm not going to make my time hard. I didn't make my time hard enough, so I wasn't going to make it hard out here because I really don't want to be bothered with them,
yeah.
period.
I get it. I get it.
Period.
Let me ask you
So
something. After doing all of that time,
mhm.
when you did finally get home, did you feel supported? Did you feel like you had a support system?
Oh, Lord have mercy. I have got to say no. No, I didn't. I think everybody was looking at me as a strong individual.
Hmm.
And I think they really forgot, to look at it like she's been really for real incubated. She's been incarcerated, gone away from the norms.
Yeah,
Everything had to be reprogrammed. Everything. Even the family, we lost connection.
yeah,
Everything was, so all I could do, all I was doing was woe was me and crying, and that was just on the getting on everybody's nerves. So I was like, Lord, you know what? You handle this. I
yeah,
love them.
yeah. I
You
get
know I
that.
love them.
I
Yeah.
get that.
But I can say my mom, I'm gonna say this now, because it was a financial thing. I didn't have anything, socks, underwear, anything. My mom, she kind of kept me in there until she seen where I got a job, got on my feet. You know what I mean? So I can
Yeah,
truly say she rode it with me for like a year,
that's a
until I
blessing.
got in there.
That's a
Yeah,
blessing.
yeah. And my
Do you?
family, I'm gonna say this, they raised, some money so I can, buy a few things,
Yeah,
but as far as mental support, I
none.
had to be cray by myself. But I figured it
I get it.
out.
I get it. Let me ask you something. Do you feel like there were resources that were readily available to you coming home after all that time?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I was in the halfway house with a bunch of cool cats. I really was.
Yeah,
And they did a lot of time themselves. So they kind of taught me the ropes of what was available for ex-felon, and programs are paid, through certain programs. So they really turned me on. So I can say really federal,
yeah,
as far as, a lot of their resources. I dug in. I was able to get a cosmetologist license, which I was already a nail tech. But I figured, hey, why not get the whole enchilada? So I got the cosmetologist. I was able to get some certifications like CNAs,
yeah,
whatever the field I chose. And that was beautifying and,
yeah.
and helping. So, yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. Let me ask you something. What was it like trying to find employment and getting back into the workforce after all that time?
Now, now I'm going to say this, and I'm going to toot the horn and all that stuff, because, prayers are answered. Prayers
Hmm.
are answered.
Yeah,
That was one of my biggest fears. I asked God before I left, I said, please let not this, what I've gone through, continue on the outside as far as stopping me and hindering me with anything, so I can, for
yeah,
the embetterment of myself.
yeah.
And I can truly say, not one day. Any application I done put in,
Mhm.
got the job. Anywhere I done went, positions. I can say he truly answered the prayer.
That's a blessing.
Okay?
That's a
He looked at
blessing.
me. He
Hey,
truly answered the prayer.
that's a
So,
blessing. And for
yeah,
people
yeah,
watching, it doesn't always play out that way. Some people
exactly.
really struggle, after being gone that long. getting back home and trying to land on their feet.
I have
So, and
friends. Yeah.
that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Now, let me ask you this. You got locked up in 1994. It was still payphones on every corner. What was it like integrating back into society after being gone all of that time, knowing the advances in technology that had happened in that 15 years that you were locked up? What was that like?
Wow. I wish my son could be right here, sitting right here beside me. If he could help me with this, because he was one of the ones that was really actually getting a thrill out of watching me figure it out. From the gas pumps to computers, because when I left, they had the big old phone upside your head with this baby suitcase. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the big giant magnetic beepers, 911 all day, so, and you got to pull over and use the payphone. So
Yep.
all of that was there. And I'm like, okay, all this here. And so, the BlackBerry was out when I came home. And I mean, it was a thrill, just learning to do it all over again. And I got to say, sometimes it was really frustrating. I would find myself crying and just upset that I had to, be at this age, and I'm really starting how to walk all over again. Like, oh my God. And I just had to get it together, and just being thankful for all the while, all the lessons. And I want to say this while we're on this subject.
Yeah.
For all the ones that really, I won't call it a mental, but it was like a mental block.
Yeah.
And it had to be chiseled, to open back up.
Yeah.
For the ones that helped me and didn't know they were helping me, kudos, thank you. You just never know. You know what I mean? From pointing that person out before they come up to me and cuss me out, like, BLTCH, you know me. I don't know you. Who are you? Friends just helping with small things,
Yeah, I get it.
I want to tell them thank y'all, from the directions to it's over here, and know.
And it's the little things. It's the little things that mean so much.
I had to start over. Yeah.
I get it. And you've done that. Let me ask you this. When you first started off, you talked about the fact that you have 2 adult children. You stated that they were 11 and 3 years old when you first got locked up. If you don't mind sharing, what is your relationship like now with your family and your kids after being gone away for so long?
I'm going to say this. The love is most definitely there. I have no doubt. The connection is lost. You know what I mean? I don't know who's waiting on whose light going to plug into what and spark everything up. I just don't know. I don't know if this is just a new era. I don't want to be a burden, calling and, I don't like doing that, So I've learned to sit back. I know it's there. I've prayed, They're my family. I love them dearly. Yeah. There's no way we're not supposed to be on this horn every day. And girl, I'm coming to see you. Girl, you coming. I just don't see it. So that's in the realm. I'm doing my that same thing I did to bring it in my lap. I just put it in the universe. I don't even talk about it anymore.
Hey, but we all the work in progress, so it's okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Let me ask you, and I keep on stressing the fact that this was your first offense. And off that first offense, you got 19 and a half years. What was that experience like mentally? First time offender, locked up in the feds in Northern California, away from your small kids. What was that like mentally?
Crazy. The devil crazy. You hear me? Mind blowing crazy. Just crazy. Yeah. Crazy. Just it was really tough. It was tough. I was in an unbeknown place. I have never been in captivity before. I tell you this, I'm gonna say this. I can kind of relate to my ancestors with that slavery. Mm-hmm. That being locked up and contained and being able to, you got to worry with you all your freedom, all your rights. You understand? Rights and freedom. Yeah. It's in somebody else's hand. And then your mindset.
I get that.
I ain't never been there.
I'm a firm believer, whether it's, 6 days or 6 years, Any day away from the people that you love is too long. It's too long.
Mm,
And that's what this series is about. You know, at what point have you served your time? You know, you gave them 15 years in prison, 5 years supervised release.
mm-hmm.
You know, at what point do you get your civil liberties back?
Come on.
At what point can you vote? Because you're working every day and you're paying taxes.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's what this is really about, is shedding a light on a system that, again, we all know it's broken.
Yeah.
But it's important to know how broken it is and to put a face to that brokenness.
Yes.
Let me
Yes.
ask you this, Ann. It's been a hell of a ride. You've been home now. You've been in the healthcare field for 12 years. You had your own business. You have
Yeah.
moved from California to Mississippi to Alabama. Where are you at now, mentally and professionally?
So grateful. I look at my life, look at everything. I'm telling you, I thought prison was a curse for me.
Yeah.
But it really was the biggest blessing in my life.
Hey,
I hate
sometimes
I
it
had
saves
to
your life.
leave my children. Yeah. But I'm telling you, it learned me and it taught me so much. So I can never take this experience. And even though he used my child's, father, I thought that was the worst thing in the world. That's why I'm able to talk to him now. Sometimes he don't understand, like, ooh, Lord. But that's how love works.
Yes.
Now I look at my life and I see, God, I see what you was doing with me.
Yeah.
So my thing is, mentally, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to say, back there a few years ago, I was, and then now I'm like this, and my mind like this, and I'm like this. I take that.
I love it.
I take it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And what I love the most is your positive outlook on all of it. Because the truth of it is that prison saved a lot of our lives.
Yes.
Just depends on how you look at it, you know,
Yes.
because things could have always ended differently.
Yes.
They just couldn't have.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, because again, I know the time is precious, and I appreciate you taking time out of your Wednesday evening to be here with me. What are your aspirations for the future? What do you want for Ann Wyatt moving forward?
Big things. I have this thing about togetherness, love, spreading it. I used to think I need to be this, I need to be that. I'm in the health field. It's what I love.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? It's what I love.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just do what I do. I'm not going to say, put myself on, I'm supposed to be over here. I'm just going to move right, do what I do, love on people,
Yes.
do the right thing, and just let God, and that's all I can say, because I can say what I want to be, and it may not be. So I've learned to let go and let him,
That's it. That's all we can.
That's all, just go hard at what I'm doing,
That's all we can do. And I want to thank you. Being vulnerable isn't easy. And especially, coming from those prison circumstances where we are so closed off and we don't trust people, it's hard to put yourself in the hot seat and to be transparent and to tell a group of strangers a story that could have very well overtaken your life in a negative way.
I saw it happen. I've seen it happen.
Hey,
so many times. A lot of them didn't make it.
You and me both. Again, this series is about begging that question. Does the punishment fit the crime? And first time offense. Baby daddy told on 15 years served, 5 years supervised release. It's a beautiful thing to see where you are now. Know that I'm rooting for you wholeheartedly. And I want to tell the people who are still watching, there was an underlying theme in everything that Ann was talking about, and it was faith. When we get in situations like that, sometimes that's all you have. When you don't have a strong support system, when your family is not around the corner and they can come and visit you every Saturday or Sunday, sometimes God is all you have. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the intangible becomes tangible in that moment, because that is who we are leaning on to get us through. So, Ann, thank you. I will continue this prison series. And hey, I'm gonna figure out a way to get on live faster. My next guest is gonna be my cousin, Kenyon Fairley. Kenyon
Okay.
has done several stints in prison, and it's a beautiful thing to see
Yes.
where he is now from where he was. And
Exactly.
you know I love you. Thank you for telling your story. Okay,
Thank you.
and hey,
Yes.
we all rooting for you. All right,
That's it. And
and
this is the
yeah,
beginning. Yes, ma'am.
most
All right.
definitely. And hey, God got you. All right. Thank
Absolutely.
y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Have a good one, love
Yes.
bug. Bye
There we
bye.
go.